Erica, did you have any outfits on the show that you now regret?
Well, I didn't dress myself. I didn't dress Max, so no regrets. I was just serving what the wardrobe gods gave me. Thank you,
Ah,
Ceci. She was our god.
Our gods. I actually have no regrets either. I had a melange of fashion. I had hats and florals and polka dots and a vest with the moon on it for no particular
Nice.
reason.
I
I had
remember.
all this whimsical realness, boho foolishness, and all the hats. And I had a lot of hair that wasn't my hair, a lot of extra hair added onto
Yours
my head.
now.
Then I had to put the hat on top of the hair, and it was a lot. And I would sometimes get a headache, but who's complaining?
Hey, we all suffered too, because I had the nipples of life, Kim.
I remember.
Yeah, I know. And the wardrobe tried to hide them with Band-Aids and padding and prayer and all these things because they didn't want nipples, apparently, on, primetime TV. But they were like, no, we're here, we're proud, too black, too strong, pow, pow, pow. And they just kept coming out.
All right, here they come.
It was
All right.
off the chain.
I don't know how we're going to transition, but we got to transition off of your nipples right quick. Let's just pivot.
Wouldn't be the first time.
I say that we call in a professional.
Go ahead.
Since we're talking about fashion, we're talking about the queen of costumes, the character who did the most, wore the most, and even played a costume designer on a show within the show. Palo Alto is our fashionista, our diva, our girl,
Kim Victoria Fields.
Back with us again.
Come on.
Come on now. Welcome back to Reliving Single, the official, unofficial Living Single Rewatch podcast. Yay! Our special guest is falling right in line. We have the one and only Kim Fields here with us today. Again, smooches. Well, here's what we want you to take over right now. We're going to talk about fashion, the fashion of living, of this show, the fashion of that era.
Yes.
And I just want to call out that you and I are both wearing kimonos.
Yes, we are. We're
And
in
you
the
and I are both
kimono.
wearing
I'm
orange.
tangerine.
Yes.
Yes.
No phone
And
calls
pattern.
before the moment.
No, not at all.
What's
Fashion.
worse is we actually texted each other last night, and I said, "Hey guys, is it dressy or what?" And you were like, "Oh, it's casual dressy if that's a thing."
If that's
and
a
no
thing.
one still discussed like what we were doing, and here we
And
are.
here we are.
Here we are.
So that's
Here we are.
osmosis, it's synergy and chemistry.
Yeah. So we're
Well-
not going to talk about a specific episode, just the fashion in general,
Okay.
right? All fashion, all the time.
Nice. And we had a lot of fashion going on. We were trendsetters. There were characters that were doing their own thing. Kim,
Yeah.
Regine carried the whole fashion sort of,
Narrative.
narrative. Yeah. and good you did because you didn't mind it. I didn't want to be changing all those clothes.
It's not that I didn't mind it. I just understood the assignment, like they
Okay.
say. I
Okay.
understood that
Okay.
was part for the course for the character.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand. I don't like buying clothes. I don't like changing clothes. I don't like shopping. Again, just a lot of non-Kim stuff that Regine was, the embodiment of.
That's amazing. You don't like shopping.
Oh no.
You never did you?
Oh no.
Is it funny? Yeah.
Mm-mm. So it's wonderful though that you guys are doing this episode because people do talk so much about the fashion of living single for the men and the women.
Yeah.
I mean, even when Overton would get dressed up, in his casual
yeah.
vibes. But I mean,
Yeah.
TC, remember when he introduced Mashoud?
Yeah.
The Brooklyn,
yes.
the Brooklyn
Yeah,
designer.
Yeah. Mashoud,
Yeah,
Shaka
absolutely.
King.
Yeah.
That was out of Brooklyn. All those Chicago designers.
Yeah.
all the
Clea.
jewelry.
Aaliyah
jewelry.
jewelry.
Yes. The Negro League.
Come on.
Yes.
All of the
all the league stuff and the
yes,
jerseys.
yes.
And John rocking with the hats and all that.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was
Oh,
kind
I
of
can't
the,
remember that
the
line.
hip hop sort of
Right.
aesthetic.
Yeah.
These were personal fashion pieces that we wore on the show and then requested that they be on the show more and more and more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Mashoud and all those. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. I wish I still had some of those pieces. What did I do with that
Yeah,
stuff?
me too.
It's in
'Cause,
storage somewhere.
Max had a ton of great suits.
Yes.
And
And
you
great
had
dresses.
the greatest frame, you have and had for those looks. the
Oh, thank you.
greatest frame. I mean, you were built like you were, like someone from the 1940s.
Yeah.
Because you had those great suits, those pencil skirts.
Yeah, the pencil
oh my
skirts.
goodness.
Yeah,
What?
the power suits, all of
Uh-huh.
that stuff. And
Yeah.
then when she wanted to use it as a weapon and
Yeah.
ammunition, they would put in the sexy dresses. You know,
Yes.
it's just
That
sort of,
one when you were, what was it, the tango and that
Oh,
white?
come on.
Girl,
Mm.
I wanted to stab you in that quick change booth.
in the quick change booth.
In the quick
Do
change
you
booth.
see this? Yeah, we turned into a
So
whole
let's
murder
talk about
mystery.
a quick change booth.
Yeah,
What's a
let's
quick
do it.
change booth?
So instead of going to your dressing room or your trailers
Mhm.
away from the sound stage and going to change your clothes while we were actually filming, they had these little like booths set up, and that's where you would go in, and it was
Curtains.
on the curtains and
Yep.
drapes and things.
And nothing
and
overhead.
it was
Yeah.
including people.
Yeah.
And so you would go in there and they would have your outfits in there for you to change into so that they could keep the pacing going of filming. So that's a quick change booth.
And sometimes it was quick and sometimes it wasn't, because some of us had a little sofa in our room and an
You
ashtray.
and Latifah.
Latifah and I would sit
Y'all
and smoke
made it like a
cigarettes.
lounge.
We made it a lounge because it was you had
Quick
to be
change
comfortable.
lounge.
Quick
Ain't
that
change
some
lounge.
shit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
had little plants in there, and we had like little we would smoke. We was like, we'll be right out. We'll be
Yeah.
out shortly.
Kim and I had like a folding chair in there
Exactly.
and
And
some
a
hooks.
towel on the floor.
Yeah, a towel on the floor, and we got it done.
We got it done.
Yeah, exactly.
So we everybody was looking really good, but we were like dressing in hunger. You know? Truly.
Didn't we do a beach party?
Yes, child.
Yes.
I was so excited. My stomach was out
Oh, yeah.
in a good way.
You look great.
Yes.
Because the quote unquote bathing suit look that I did, we just did little cutouts of the parts that were okay for public consumption.
And it was cute and again sexy without being
It looked
sexual.
great.
Which is a little
Right.
belly,
I
little
was
piece of it,
so
little piece of skin.
excited. I had worked out for so freaking long. I was so excited,
You're
y'all, to have
ready.
just them look
Like no carbs for 3 weeks.
freaking crunches and everything. So
Well, speaking
I was
of
happy
which,
about that.
I mean, we talk about fashion, but the thing that it's on, the body, were you feeling body conscious at all inside of this stuff, or you felt really comfortable in the way they dressed you?
I was self-conscious every time I was on camera.
Really?
Because that was so not Kim. Regine was so not me. So all the clothes and the wigs and the makeup and so
Wow.
it was really great because again, as an actor, that's what I love doing is being and portraying someone else.
Mhm.
But I was so self-conscious of being pulled up and sucked in and do this and do that. And I was just so in my head because
Wow.
I towards the end of Facts of Life, it was a whole different journey, and I can only say thank God I wasn't coming of age in this climate.
Mm.
Oh
Mhm.
my goodness, because that was enough.
Yeah.
So I was always in my head about it. So I was never comfortable in Regine's skin.
It's a shame. Do you look back now and
Oh,
say
'cause
how
I-
beautiful you were? Because, when you in your head and so you go, my God, why didn't I really enjoy it? Because
Yeah.
you're such a little doll. She
Well,
was like a
thank
little
you. I
doll.
look at it now and I was like, oh, bitch, you snatched. You
Yeah,
look
I know,
good.
that's what I'm saying.
Listen, I'm like, okay, okay, it's
Girl,
possible.
for sure.
Go.
That's the thing to young women out there, to enjoy yourself right now. Because you're going to look back and wish you had.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not as bad as you think. And in fact, you're like at the top, you're at the bloom of the rose. You're as beautiful as you're ever going to be in
Yeah.
terms of what your body can sort of.
Yeah.
Hold it together without even
Yeah,
working
because you
hard
grow
for it.
more
Yeah.
beautiful in
Yes.
different ways.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Appreciate what you have.
Appreciate what you have.
It's time for the rewind, where we watch and relive living single with you. Oh, that's amazing. Why don't we look at some of the fashion?
Hey.
Wow.
Nice.
So that's
yes.
early Latifah.
That's early Latifah and doing a shout out to the great Howard University.
That's true. So Khadija is still in her sort of collegiate
Mm-hmm.
thing,
Mm.
the chill out with the
Right.
jeans and whatnot.
Nice.
Yeah, very Dana.
Very Dana.
If you're looking at that with the Howard University stuff,
Even if you didn't go to an HBCU, the fashion of it, and like you said, that awareness, but the cool logos or the
Mhm.
colors and things like that. So it was a very popular trend.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
it made
And
people want to go to college.
Right. And celebrating. We were celebrating our own in that way.
Mm.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Love that.
Where does this fit in the ratings? I think like
I think it's since
3.
it's such a super cash look. I mean, it's she's got the headpiece, she's got the jeans going. So I think in terms of if you're categorizing it in the genre of casual,
Okay, yeah, let's put them. Yeah.
hanging out and stuff like
Chilling
that.
out.
I think that's a strong 4.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's a strong 4.
I was thinking of a tight 3.
And that's why I started because I knew what you were going to do. That's why I went first.
And for the meaningfulness of it, I'll give it a 4.2.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Don't get mad at me, Howard. That has nothing to do with Howard. I want the people, accosting me on the streets.
Right.
Right.
I love Howard.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I remember that.
I remember that.
That's a good vibe day, right?
Yes.
Great
All
video.
that
Great.
denim.
The culture of that 90s vibe with the overalls and the
Yes.
shirt around the waist.
Yeah.
And
Yes. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful
that's
picture.
one of my favorite shoots for us as a cast.
Yeah, me too.
Iconic.
It really is. It's so clean and cultural. Our chemistry screams at you from this photo. I mean, just
100%.
jumps off of the page.
100%.
It does. We're leaning into each other. We're relaxed.
Mhm.
There's a real beautiful thing about our skin tones too. Look at that.
Yes. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
The caramels into the
Mhm.
And Latifah wearing her brother's motorcycle
Yes.
keychain there, which is
Yeah.
a staple for her.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So Winky died in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
put that key on a chain and kept it there. And so there it is,
yeah.
Yeah.
making its debut.
I rate
love
this
that.
5 out of 5 out of 5.
5.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
a 5.
100%.
That's a 5 in the
yes.
cash.
100 out of
Yeah.
5.
Yes.
Definitely.
And this has been recreated 1,000
wow.
times.
So what shoot is this?
This was Essence.
This
Yes.
is Essence.
Yeah.
And
So
it was a whole February celebrating love
Yeah.
in
And we
African
were in a mausoleum
attire.
too, right?
Yeah.
We went somewhere
Yeah,
in
we were
LA.
at this mausoleum near the Forum in
Yeah.
LA.
Something, yeah.
And we had these beautiful African
God.
looks,
Oh.
basically.
I
the
don't think
hair,
any
the-
cast has ever looked
Oh,
that good.
how
No.
could
Come
they?
on
No,
now.
And yet-
Stop playing.
Sorry, I'm going to say it, but I'm sorry, not sorry. We weren't the cover. We never had the cover of Essence.
We sure did.
We never.
We sure did.
Never.
We sure did.
We
Never.
never
No, that's
were
true.
on the cover of Essence.
And that should have been on the cover of Essence.
Look at it. Look at
It
it.
was,
And there was
we
so
were
many
the number
versions
one
of this.
show in America
Yeah.
for Black and Latino households.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that
Created
would've-
by a woman with 4 women of color and 2 strong male leads of color.
Yeah.
Never.
By the way,
Why,
the creator's
though?
also black. Did you say
Yeah,
that?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I got stuck
That's
on
an
female,
odd
but
thing
yeah.
to
No.
think
Yeah.
about.
But let's go back to the beauty, shall
yeah,
we?
that's true.
So stunning.
Yeah.
I think
Beautiful.
the
Look at the
fellas.
colors.
That's a 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, you know what? I think it was the first time that, to me, I felt that the show was sort of giving a nod to the African
Mm.
diaspora.
Yeah,
Mhm,
very much so.
Yeah.
Except for when I came in to work one day rehearsal and I had on a different non-photo shoot
Yeah.
African
Yeah, you're
outfit
just
Yes,
casual,
and
yeah.
just
enjoying
totally
yourself. Yes.
casual, just
With the
with the,
dashiki.
yes, and I had on this beautiful African dress and a little head wrap, and I came into work, and you guys started improvising this whole wonderful African.
And that was really your outfit.
That was
wasn't
really
it?
my outfit, and I came, and then there you guys go. Yes, and they put it in the show.
That's the spirit of Shaka Zulu.
There you go.
Coming,
There you go.
You know what I mean? To impregnate me.
That's
And
good
I
stuff.
lift my leg in honor.
Right. There you go.
I'm sure
Oh,
spirit of
yes.
Africa is
That
still
was a
within me.
beautiful
shoot.
And
That
it grows
is
every day more
absolutely.
powerful.
It was a beautiful
Now,
day.
that's not considered the fashion of living single. However, in that moment, we were for sure a hit. In that moment, we were
Absolutely.
for sure trailblazers and trendsetters. For
Indeed.
sure.
For sure.
For
For
sure.
sure.
For sure. And we looked good.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
Come on. My God.
I
I wish we could have kept those clothes.
Me too.
You know? Wow.
Well,
So
what
it's-
to say?
Yeah, yeah. You look cute. Kim.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Yes. So Regine came in wearing it's like a patent leather vest with all these buttons on it and a red t-shirt, long sleeve shirt, a long straight wig, and then a bandana
And big ol' earrings.
Big old earrings. Yes. It's very rock. Yeah.
It's a little Janet Jackson in there too.
Very
That's the way love goes. Remember her with the
right.
vest?
Okay.
You know,
Oh,
I can see
yes,
that.
yes. Yep.
I can see that.
Yep. And speaking of Janet, one of my favorite looks was when we did that flashback episode with how we all came together, and then they put me in the Rhythm Nation look.
It was fabulous.
It was so
And
good.
I mean, you know, I've always been told I favor
You
her.
favor her.
And
You do.
Yeah, you
so
do.
To
Absolutely.
be able to honor my friend, it was really cool to do that in the military jacket.
Right, did it have
it was
epaulets and everything?
It had
The whole
epaulets, it
thing.
had everything.
Absolutely.
It wasn't wearing you. You were wearing it. Yeah.
Very much so.
You know what I
It
love?
was
How she
great.
just drops my friend.
Yeah.
I like to
I was
drop
gonna
that
let
too
go
about the
my
Jacksons.
friend and her
My
wonderful
friend
talent
Janet. I'd like
gifts.
to honor my friend.
And her
Janet.
wonderful talents. And
Man, I had such a crush on her.
really,
If I ever
Like a
was
girl
probably
crush.
going to go, girl crush, whatever. Definitely, we would have, had copulation.
wow, the revelations are coming out on.
It's
the,
true.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
It's either that or Michelle and Cello.
Okay.
Yeah, Feast or Famine.
Okay.
What's the
You know what I'm saying?
So
Wow.
the guys, I mean, they always brought the thunder. You know, that was one thing we always
Is that
would
the
correct.
thunder? Can we describe this thunder? Because I don't know. Are we
Well,
rating them still?
I think Overton wore colorful or
The
you know
prince,
the
yes.
prints.
That
and-
was
the
oogly to me,
button-
though.
but in the
button up-
90s.
Button up to the neck,
It
shirt,
looked like
lots
Paula
of
Dean
prints.
lost her apron on, put it on his back. Is that a tomato on there? It is.
It might be or
Thank
sun
you.
or
Some kind of
sunshine.
beet and or cabbage. I mean, that's nuts.
go
Along
to
with the
TC.
chakra.
Let's go to TC.
With
Okay.
the colorful vest. TC always wore a
always
lot of
looked great.
textures as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
He
And I
really
think he brought
embraced the
right.
African fashion sense with
Absolutely.
accents and things. And he really brought back the fedora.
Oh,
you know, I
come on.
love that
Did
TC
he?
did that.
You know what?
Yeah.
I didn't think about.
Sure
The
did.
only
Yeah.
person on TV rocking
Yep.
that.
Very much so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he brought in some of his own pieces
Oh,
from
he
his own closet.
absolutely
Okay,
did.
yeah.
Especially like the jewelry and things.
Oh,
And that's,
please,
guys,
yeah.
when we're talking about Aclea
Yeah.
and a lot of those beautiful
Mud cloth
yes.
things.
And
Michoud
Aclea
all
would
that.
come to set and bring her wares. And I don't know about y'all. I've shopped so much of her stuff. Just
Oh, yeah.
her bringing
I
her
still
necklaces to
have.
work. Of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
me too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I rate John Hinton, unfortunately, sorry, brother, 1.
Me too.
And the great T.C. Carson is a 4 for him because
Okay.
he does so well. He
Yeah.
can only go up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know exactly what he's wearing here anyway.
I
Just
I
by
think
the
I'm
way,
gonna
we got to
give-
talk about his twists
Yes,
Mhm.
the twist with the fade.
with the fade.
With the fade, a
Yeah, the
nice
fade.
clean fade. Yeah. I think for Overton on this, I'm gonna have to at least go at 2.5.
Okay.
For effort, you know, his comfort zone was his work clothes, you know, as
Right.
the handyman. So you get some points with me for coming out your comfort zone, Overton.
Yeah. And he looks like he's been hit by a Mardi Gras parade. Float.
Oh, God.
Oh,
wow.
gosh.
You're gonna make it after all.
Wow. The hats. The hats.
So
the hats.
90s.
And the
yes.
hats, as the seasons went on, I lost some of, the hats
Yeah.
moved on.
So what kind of hat is this? Because it's a witchy
It's-
pool velvet
It's sort
hat.
of a witchy
that's
poo
collapsed.
velvet, flip up Paddington Bear.
Paddington Bear. Yes. Paddington Bear. You got a ton
Paddington
of
Bear.
hair underneath
Yes,
ton of
yes.
hair.
So the hat
Pretty
is
face.
black, but it's got that where the flip up top, the front has that really pretty like colorful. Is that like a scarf or
I don't
accent
know.
Like
or
that is.
Of some
just some
kind.
splashes of color up there?
Is that a
yeah.
choir robe?
I think it's like a fake shearling jacket, is what I would say. Because
Okay.
maybe I
'Cause
brought
you
that from
couldn't afford
Minnesota
it.
where it's cold.
But sure.
That's
No.
right.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
No, it just all this
It
frames your
frames,
face.
Yes,
Nice.
beautiful.
But this is a 1 for me. Sorry. Sinclair didn't have the best stuff. It's not your fault,
But her
Kim.
stuff was very Sinclair. So I'm
Very
going to give it was
Sinclair-y.
very Sinclair. So I'm going to give it a
Yes.
5 because it is Sinclair.
You can't give it a 5 because
I
it's
give it a 5
Sinclair.
'cause it
You
is-
gotta, we're looking at fashion.
It's undeniably Sinclair.
You
Nobody
look
else
like
would,
you're
could or
Eliza
would
Doolittle in a Pygmalion story. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that
Liza,
governor.
oh, I'm Liza Doolittle. How are you? Can you buy my flowers, please, sir? Arms for the poo. I mean, give me a break. That's got a 5.
there.
It's the truth. Are you kidding?
I'm
Let's be
committed.
honest with ourselves.
It's a 5 because I'm committed.
I'm not weighing.
You know
Okay,
what
moving
you-
on.
Y'all
She
made me
know the
snort.
truth.
My snort is my way in.
Oh.
That's just rude. Regine did Khadijah wrong picking this costume out.
Look at how you look at you.
Look at you. Look.
The
My God.
Halloween episode, when Regine was in charge of getting the costumes, and this is what she got for Khadijah: a
It is
little
a-
Bo Peep,
A
Little Bo
Bo Peep with so much,
ruffle,
so many
but
ruffles.
layered
oh,
in the
and
worst way.
and a tight purple, a fitted
A
purple
fitted.
bodice.
yeah.
Oh, and a chin strap.
Yeah,
chin
right,
strap.
around her gigantic breasts.
And
I mean,
the hat, the floppy
the
hat.
floppy
The floppy hat.
And the staff.
The staff,
And the
Of Moses.
staff.
The staff of
Mm.
Moses.
But here's
The
what you
bonnet.
all missed.
Oh,
The
yes.
bonnet.
Is if you watched here's an ode to comedy. As Latifah descended the stairs, if you notice, she
pounced.
walked so that the flounces would flounce.
Yes, she did.
And
Yes,
so
she did.
it really
yes.
like she understood the assignment there.
Yes, yes,
And
yes,
if you
yes.
remember, she danced in this episode.
Yeah, oh my
Remember,
God, she did. Her
she
and Scooter, right?
Her and Scooter, and she danced so that
She
the
was dancing
flounces
so
would
hard.
flounce even more. It was
Awful.
brilliant. She
Yes.
she looked at what she was wearing and
Yes.
decided to work it.
And
It was
did
great.
work it.
Yep.
It was hilarious.
She gets
Hilarious.
a 5 from me for the comedy.
Yes,
because
definitely
that
5.
takes a certain strength of character to just not give a good god darn about how you look because it's about the comedy.
Right.
And the truth of the matter is, she's kind of adorable in
She's
this.
She is
adorable.
adorable.
She's
She
adorable
is.
in this. Oh, and let's not forget the curls.
Oh,
The
please.
wig.
Oh, look at the-
Please,
Oh,
curls.
Looking like she looked like D'Artagnan from the Three Musketeers. I mean, those kind of curls
The
you can't come back
curls,
from.
yes.
My God.
Oh my
They did a
goodness.
good job
those
putting
are
the costume
France.
together.
But you know, by the
Yes.
way,
But you know,
she
it
ain't
was
the only one in
custom made.
costume because Kim is in that golden outfit
Please.
Egyptian,
looking like,
a
Cleopatra.
Cleopatra.
Yeah,
Something.
well,
looking
Just
gorgeous.
absolutely
They were
gorgeous
very
with the
kind.
hair. She got the hair. You've got the it's
That
doing a
gold
different.
and
lame.
I
shit.
got to be
That's
the bride
right,
of Frankenstein.
the Bride of Frankenstein. Yes,
So that's definitely a 1 in my book, and you look like a 5
for
Yeah.
the comedy.
Queen of
yes.
Egypt.
Yes,
And I give her
no,
a 5 because
I give her a 5 for the comedy.
Yeah,
5 for
I
the
give her
comedy,
5,
but
yes.
y'all judging everything but the outfit. It's supposed to be the outfit, and she gets a 1.
Well, it's a little Bo Peep costume. So if we're going for that, then I mean that's a 3. She is little Bo Peep. She's
Not
got
so
the
little
bloomers.
though, so it doesn't look
She's
that
got the
nice.
bloomers.
You know
I
what
I'm
I'm
gonna
saying?
say a 5 because she pulled it off. She pulled it off.
Okay,
And the
y'all
wig,
tripping.
and the wig, and the
Please.
bloomers.
It was
Okay.
complete.
Yes.
It was complete.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Now we have to describe this stuff. Oh my
Oh.
gosh. Are we
Where's
wearing
the fashion
With the
in
kente
this?
cloth.
Just
There's
the
no
kente
fashion.
cloth.
Just the
Okay,
kente.
so this is the setup of
Okay.
TC, Carson, Kyle, and Max's
Their first
tryst.
love tryst.
Yes.
And they've got to be a morning after.
Yes.
And it's the second season. Is it the second season,
I don't
first show?
remember. Yeah, maybe so.
second
It
season.
is second
yes,
season, first
yes.
show. And we are not wearing much of anything, but we are wearing this kente cloth blanket. You hear me?
I mean,
Look at-
wearing it.
Let's
And
talk
that
about
beautiful, beautiful
What did
melanin.
Melanin
yeah,
popping.
Yeah.
we had melanin for real. Like, look at TC. I could almost lick him.
Right.
here.
You should.
He's like a chocolate
But-
god.
What were you wearing underneath, Erica?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know? I was definitely wearing
You know what?
a panty liner and maybe some panties, but that's it.
No brassiere?
Nope.
No top?
I let him have it.
Ooh, I know he like that.
So the necklaces, that's a Clea, right, guys?
That's a Clea.
Yes,
That
yes,
is.
That's a Clea.
Yeah, that also reminds me of Keith. Could you turn up the heat?
Oh man, I love that.
Erica loves being naked,
Can you turn
y'all.
up the
Let me
heat?
tell y'all.
What was
That
that
So-
from?
That's
that was when I was dating Khalil Kane, and he was the artist, and
I gotta
Max got
pose.
under my skin to pose for him
Nude.
because she was nude,
Nude.
right? Because she was testing our relationship, and she had this pretend belly ring, and she says, "Keith, could you turn up the heat?"
Yeah, and I
Keith,
put
could you
little
turn up the
nuggets
heat?
all around.
Yes.
Yes.
right. Okay.
But anyway, yes,
Let me tell
there
you
go.
something. I rate this a 5 out of 5. If you get any more, because
You're not even wearing any clothing and you give yourself a 5?
damn right, because that skin is perfect.
Yeah, it is. It's glowing.
What's divine?
And the
Blonde.
body is perfect.
Body,
yes,
yada, yada.
Before there was Wakanda.
Okay.
The
So we're
nails.
in our apartment. We are a married, loving married couple. And Sinclair wants to get into a theater group, but they
Yeah.
have no more room to cast any women into this theater group. And so she decides to dress up as a man and name herself James Overton so that she can get into the theater group.
Wow.
And I am wearing, I think I look like Sinbad because of my sideburns. And so I'm James, I'm Jimmy. You can call me Jimmy. Hands down, one of my favorite episodes to play. One of my
You were
favorites.
excellent. And you look like Shirley Hemphill in light skin with the damn Fu Manchu. You dig what I'm
I
saying?
had
A
so
full
much
Fu
fun.
Manchu
About
with
this
mutton
is that-
chops.
I asked for the mutton chops. I was
Yes,
like, don't
we
just
know
give me
you
sideburns.
did.
Of course I
Yes,
did.
Of course you did.
They had to take me back and bind my breasts. I had to be bound.
That's massive.
But they kept popping up. So
Yeah.
they had to take me out back and keep binding
Not
me down.
out back.
Out back.
Out to the quick change booth. I love this. I love this
You
episode.
did a great job.
I had
You
so
really
much fun.
did.
and
can
you
call me
looked
Jimmy.
great as a dude.
Thank-
Is that a
I'm handsome.
compliment?
It's a handsome. I'm a handsome. man,
Dude, man. Definitely a 5.
You're looking at me deep in my eyes. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I wouldn't date you, but I was a handsome man.
You were a handsome man. I'm gonna go. I'm 5.
A 5 for the outfit.
Yep. Like you said with Dana, the commitment. You went there
Thank
and
you,
you were
thank you.
committed
That's
for
right.
the comedy.
I was
for
grabbing
the,
my stuff
Yeah.
a lot that episode. Okay.
First of all, this episode was so great when they had to create two or three different looks for us. One or two was the casual looks in the 60s vibe.
Mhm.
And then our performance looks.
Listen, this is now a clip
Yes.
of us when we debut and we're just getting to see the group for the first time. And so we're
Yes.
in our characters. And what Maxie?
Yes.
I look like a
Maxie.
damn red hot chicken in this. I looked nuts. I look like a crackhead. My lips are pink.
That was
frosted
that
lipstick.
frosted
Yeah.
lipstick.
That was the order of the day.
And you're like,
Yes,
I'm with it.
absolutely.
I'm with it. The way you pranced in this
Oh my
episode,
gosh.
it was your
And look at the
episode,
white
Erica.
boots.
It was like watching Billie Holiday and Nino Brown.
Oh, great. You are wrong for that. You are
No,
wrong
because
for
of
that.
how you was
It's the
strutting
truth,
across.
though.
When Wesley Snipes was walking
my
through Harlem
gosh.
in that crack building.
Oh, I thought
No,
you were
she-
talking about when he was doing the Queen of whatever down in
Oh,
Australia.
No,
Oh.
no,
I
no,
do-
no, no,
I
no.
did look like
Tu
him.
Wong Fu,
No.
Tu Wong Fu.
No,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Tu
then
Wong
you
Fu.
came with your
Afrocentric.
Afrocentric.
Yeah, and you were
hippie
looking
stuff,
all
yes.
sweet, like butter wouldn't melt in your
Oh,
mouth.
I just want to put
Gosh,
some
yeah.
buns
Kim.
in the oven.
Oh, God.
Well, let me
Yes.
tell you something. This was the week from hell.
Yes, it was.
It was the week from hell.
choreography, the singing. Yes.
The PMS
That's
for me.
Kim Fields. You would get the choreography on immediately, like she
Like
was
1, 2, 3,
Fred
4, up
Astaire.
and down. Okay, I
She
got
was
it.
got it, and then she would sit down and read. And Kim was
And read.
yes, and then Kim Coles was like, "So you don't need it again, Kim? You don't need it."
Because I needed you to need it again so that we could run it, so we all could run it. Because I needed it again. You're like, no, I got it.
I got it.
Like 1, 2, 3, and up and down.
She didn't even
I got
answer
it.
you. She didn't even bother to answer you. She was like, whatever.
Because I was
Meanwhile,
PMSing that week and I couldn't remember the steps.
you
I
were
couldn't get, I
miserable.
was too left
really
feet.
were. I
that
felt
movie
for you.
Misery was made off of you. I literally was like, I wish if I could beam myself up, Scotty. And then Dana wasn't there because she was filming. Remember?
Yeah.
She was filming. So we were
Oh.
all trying to get through it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we went to the studio recording. We did all of these
That's
dances.
what we had to do. Sing. We had to go
That's
Remember,
sing.
we had to go
Oh my
sing,
gosh,
lay down
wow,
the tracks, and we had to do it in 3 days. Meanwhile, look at this
Yeah.
is brilliant. Look
Yeah,
at
I
this,
love
Kim,
this.
Yeah.
dressed like a freedom fighter.
Yes. Yes.
My favorite thing is
Cross-eyed.
he takes off my glasses and I decided to cross my eyes when he took off the glasses. And John was trying not to laugh. And I was like, oh, I cracked him up. It's a good thing.
It was
Yeah,
brilliant.
it was so good.
Yeah.
So
Well-
they really did a good job of recreating the fashion of that time.
Yes.
But then all these 60s outfits and then
Yes.
the performance outfits and then our
Yes.
alter ego, they just did an
Yeah,
incredible
they really
job.
did.
Yeah,
It was
and
a
we
lot.
had
Should've
3 days.
won a lot.
Remember,
Yeah.
tape day is Thursday.
And
So-
then Also, this is an episode where we had the great Tom Joyner who opened the door and said, all right, 2 minutes, ladies, 2 minutes. So he got to come and do a special on our show, which was beautiful.
And so they've transformed from the neighborhood group to these flavorettes because John Hinton character as a manager is taking them from, small time to big time. But the outfits they have us on, we make us look like Bozo the Clown. We've got all sorts of sequins on and feathers all around our head and feathers around our hands.
But that was the order of the day.
Really?
Yes,
I felt like
absolutely.
we looked like chickens.
No, not at all. If you go
absolute
back and
crazy.
look at a lot of the performances and photo shoots from like the Supremes, Martha and the Vandellas, all of the girl groups, which this episode was based on.
Looked at.
The rise.
Look like chickens. They all look like
at
Why
that.
do I try? Why do I try?
We look
Is it-
great,
is it time
though.
for me to
But-
leave?
no,
Because y'all
no.
told me half this damn episode.
No, not the.
I think we look like beautiful chickens.
Kim.
No, I'm not co-signing that. I'm giving this whole episode 5s for all of the 60s fashion.
5 all around.
I'm giving it
Yes.
5. We look like
Definitely
I'll give it a
Absolutely,
5. I'll give it a 5.
absolutely, because
Absolutely
they
5s.
also were true to the period that they had to capture, and not just in the performances, the casual looks, and all of the atmosphere. That's a lot of looks to create and be true to it, and we definitely embodied that whole atmosphere of the come up of the 60s girl group.
That's true. And it was one of the hardest ones to film for all the sort of logistic things, but it is the fan favorite.
Oh, and it should be.
It's
It
one of
should
up
be.
there, like with the fan favorites.
Yeah. it
So we should be proud of ourselves and say thank you to Wardrobe Ceci
Yes,
and
costume
hair and
designer
costume.
extraordinaire.
And Demita Jo Freeman, who was original Soul Train dancer who came and choreographed
Wow.
that, all the
And
dance.
Clay Vaughn, the writer
Right,
who
right.
wrote that episode.
It was so good.
Is that in your notes? How do you know that?
Because I saw her in Philadelphia not too long ago when they honored me with the street naming.
Oh.
And we played this episode, and Clay Vaughn came because she's from Philly.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, we talked about this episode. Kim, thanks for being our fashionista. I mean, you led the way with fashion in the show. You continue to be a trendsetter and an icon and an influencer in the best way. And of course, you do it unconsciously. And so we appreciate that. And we love talking to you about all of this because
It was fun.
you had so much to do with it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I'm excited to talk to Ceci, who is our costume designer for most of our episodes, about this. She, in my opinion, is the queen of dressing the characters so that the minute you walk in the room, you know exactly who they are, even if you've never watched the show before, and distinct. Not one of us looked like any one of us.
Yeah.
Any other one of us.
Yeah.
And I think she's the best at that. So I'm excited to talk to her.
Give her my love.
Oh, we will.
Michelle,
We
yay!
will.
Yes. This has been so much fun, guys. Thank
Thank
you.
you. This is The Reverb, our time to reflect on the episode's themes and how they still echo throughout the culture.
Kim, this whole episode has been about the fashion and the costumes and just the look of the show. But here we have, to speak to us, is the woman herself, Ceci. Ceci is the costume designer and the genius behind all those looks. And she was doing it at a time when there were very few people who looked like her, if at all. And so she is not only a trailblazer and a trendsetter, she is a legend, how would you say it?
A legend.
Yes, here she is.
Oh, stop.
Ceci.
Tell me more.
Keep going.
She's a costume designer for Living Single and other shows like Sister Sister in a Different World, Half and Half, Mixed-ish, Wonder Years, the reboot, a Black Lady sketch show. Here she is, our friend and our love, our sister, Ceci.
Ceci.
We love you.
I love you too. You
I
taught
thank
me
you for
everything I
inviting
know.
me.
We'll talk about that.
Oh, Pshaw.
Great.
Let's begin with your love of fashion. Where did this come from?
I've always had a love of fashion. I grew up in a family where my father was very dapper and charismatic and, handsome and fly. And my mother was always elegant and well put together.
Mm.
And we didn't have a lot of money, but they did a lot with what they had. And I, out of necessity, learned how to sew. I learned how to sew at the age of 4.
Mm.
Wow.
What
And
was I doing it for? Picking
Right.
boogers. I love it. Good for
And
you.
my grandmother taught me how to knit and crochet and embroider. And I even made my first day of school, first grade outfit, some turquoise wraparound culottes with white polka dots. And all throughout middle school and high school, I made my clothes. I did my homework and then went to our sewing room. My father had fashioned a sewing room, floor to ceiling fabric, shelves of fabric, and I would make something new every day for school. And, being the youngest of 5 and not having a lot of money, wanting to be creative and wanting to stand out. And my father said that, being an individual is so important. You don't want to follow the leader. And I think he said that because he couldn't afford to give us what everybody believes.
That's what dads do.
They laid that in early.
Yeah, but you're Panamanian, so you're coming from a whole. You were talking about American TV shows, but you have a very worldly sort of palette.
Well, yes,
that you're drawing
culturally,
from.
Yes, in my household for sure. We definitely ate the food. The culinary experience was certainly different, and I think that Panama itself is a conglomeration of African culture, Spanish culture, indigenous culture, Caribbean culture. So all of that kind of informed me, seeing it, on the walls in a mola, or seeing, the color choices that my mother would buy because she made our clothes also for us. So all of that just kind of
informs who you
bakes
are.
in and informs who you are and your perspective. I mean, I didn't spend a whole lot of time thinking about it per se, but all of that becomes embedded in your style DNA, your vision, your point of view.
And you speak Spanish.
Claro que sí. Era mi primera lengua.
Yeah, fantastic. Because people need to know that there's an Afro-Latina and the helm making this type of history. But also, we were the #1 show for African-Americans and Latinos. Latinos, thank you.
I want to say for the record, it's really fun to hang out with you when we're out and about and someone says something in Spanish and you will let me know. And I speak un poco. And so,
more than un poco.
Un poco. Necesito practicar con eso.
Practicas mucho.
Sí, gracias. Sí, claro. So it's really fun to watch the turn like, oh, she speaks Spanish. Like, pull it up. Don't say nothing you're not supposed to be saying. So thank you for translating all the time. What I think you do beautifully, and listen, Erica, you and I have both been dressed by many a costume designer. Mm-hmm. And some of them translate beautifully, but you do masterfully. And I learned from you the art of translating the character to the garments that they wear. Everything is infused, and nobody does that better than you.
I think so. I would have to agree.
Okay. Well, I think I learned from you that when the character walks in the room, you'll know exactly who they are, not only by the words that are on the page that they've memorized, but by the way that they look. So you can just talk about how
no
you
lies
that.
detected there.
Okay.
I know that's right.
This is an easy interview.
It's an easy interview. It's my understanding that actors, for the most part, will find themselves in that role, right?
Yes.
You can okay, this is the character of Sinclair. This, and this is what she's about. Well, as a costume designer, I do the same thing. So I find myself in each of your characters, even the male characters. And I have to do that because, describe your character.
Maxine Shaw, lawyer, power broker, feminist, says what's on her mind.
Bam. So when I go shopping, I shop with an eye of power broker, feminist, says what's on her mind. And that quickly filters out all the other stuff.
Got it.
And it carves out your lane. It carves out, this is your lane. And so that when I do that for each character, there's not going to be a lot of cross-pollination. Mm-hmm. Even if it's denim, even if it's a pair of jeans, like yours is going to be more sophisticated, sleek, on point.
Maybe tailored.
Whereas Regine's is going to have some diamonds and pearl studs on it. They're the same jeans, but hers is going to have some chains and it's going to be, out there. Yours might be some boyfriend, some bell-bottom jeans. Exactly. So everybody has their own lane, but I shop with adjectives in mind. Okay. So however, they're described in the script or however we in a collaboration, because we always talk, before, what do you think about this scene? And so I'm already equipped with the marching orders, as it were.
But let's talk about what you're wearing right now. Let's describe this. This is off the chain.
She's giving us a jaunty hat.
Yes, a felt, ivory fedora with a snake print band around it.
Right.
Just a very thin shake print. And then these earrings, these white sort of, what are they, like
almost like rattan or something, right?
But you know what? It goes back to how I grew up. The youngest of 5, I look at pictures and I was like, girl, you had on a plaid skirt in a whole different colorway with a striped blouse and a bandana and a floral. I was like, what were you doing? But that's how, we put on things that we had.
Was it like hand-me-downs, and you were mixing the hand-me-downs plus what you were making for yourself?
100%.
And mixing
somebody's hand-me-down was her come up.
Right.
That
ding,
part.
ding, 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 ding.
In the right hands, though, that means you had a gift.
And then
I
would
saw
make
it early.
Exactly. And I would make different styles out of it. I remember our kids, if I got my foot got bigger and my toe poked out the front, I'd cut the front of it and make a sandal and cut out the sides. And then that would be
a little cutout.
It would be a whole sandal. I'd take it from a sneaker to a sandal and let my big toe just have some freedom.
Yeah, dragging on the concrete.
Exactly. But that's the kind of creativity that has held me in good stead, because budgetarily, they don't do black shows like they do white shows. Even on Living Single, I was aghast when I found out that Friends had multiples and multiples of thousands of dollars more than we had. I was like, say what now? It was insane. And it hasn't really changed much. It hasn't really changed much, unfortunately.
Yeah, talking about what hasn't changed much, what hasn't changed much that really is something that has been an obstacle that you wish could be,
It's my deepest desire that those who are in power, Black people who are in power, people of color who are in power, begin to focus more on what we're called below the line or behind the scenes. I think that there is a lot of celebration about having in front of the camera roles that are given to Black actors, but the same is not being considered behind the camera. So you'll have a Black show, a Black movie, great. And then you go, on location and it's white. Like whitey, white. Why? I'm like, how white?
Are you rapping now? I mean, white.
It's really egregious to me. And I don't understand why it's not top of mind to more people.
Because there's something you're saying about diversity that's sort of maybe not as obvious. The diversity of how you think is also what you're hiring when they get you, as opposed to somebody who might be Eurocentric and has to research us.
You're
but
bringing all your cultural
you already
knowledge and beingness.
Coalition in your mind that you've had to pay attention to your whole life.
Or even the standards of beauty. I mean, look at Living Single. Everybody was a different body size and shape before. I never once said, oh my God, look at this person. How am I going to dress that person? It's because that's not even part of the thought process or the visual process, because, we grow up in a culture of all different shapes and sizes, and I don't have a Eurocentric idea of what beauty is.
Right.
And so I can celebrate everyone's size and maximize everybody's size and make them look the best they can possibly be.
I want to say that's one of my favorite things about you is I have never felt that I was too this or not enough this in order to be dressed well. Right. And that you are, and we've done personal things together. Like, what do you want to wear? What do you want to look like? Let's go find that in your size for your proportion. I've never once felt like, ooh, do I need to fit into that? We'll find the one that fits for you and the color, the size, the proportion, and the way it makes you feel. I credit you as setting the bar for me in that, not only in the way I want to wear my own clothing personally, but I judge every other costume designer by that. Like, oh, you just have a rack of clothes for me. You didn't even think about this. You don't know that my bosom should be, you don't know that I want to hide, that I want to accentuate. You don't even know. You're not sassy. I do in my head, like, oh, good luck. I'll just throw on those shoes, really?
Really?
Oh, because it color matches, really? It's so that you bring
so
that.
much, Kim.
You bring that.
And even what's more is not just what looks good on you, but what works in the scene. Because sometimes people really don't understand the depth of what a costume designer does. And so not only do I have to, look at what's happening from the beginning of the episode through the middle, through the end. Where are you traveling? What are you doing? Are you sitting? Are you standing? Are you laying down? Is this going to be comfortable if you got to kick the box in the alleyway? I mean, what is that dress going to, is it too short? Is it too tight? Can you lift your legs? Is it going to look, crazy when you lay down and want to watch a magazine? Is this going to rumple right here because you crushed up? I mean, there's so many things that you have to think about. Wow. But that's what I mean in terms of becoming the characters. I'm listening to what Erica Alexander likes, what Kim Coles likes, but what Sinclair likes and what Max likes, what the studio likes, what the writers likes, what the directors likes, and then finally maybe what Ceci likes. And so, so I have
Everybody gets
the food
happy.
of that.
It's a
that
big
food chain.
soup of voices in my head because that's what happens. Literally, I look at something, I'm like, okay, first of all, does it match the adjectives of that character? First and foremost. Okay, now let me look at it. Is it the right style? Is it the right size? Is it the, right for that scene? Is it going to do what it needs to do in that scene? Is it going to convey that message? Because wardrobe is not just wardrobe by itself. It's also supporting the story.
That's right.
So it has to make sense.
Well, speaking of which, the studio, did they ever have a mandate for you about it, or did they ever talk to you?
I do remember there was a big to-do. Do you remember that episode when Dana was dating, who was it in the basketball player? Who was it?
She
Was
was
it
dating
Grant
so
Hill?
Grant
many
Hill.
basketball
Grant Hill.
It was
players.
Grant Hill, and she was going to the basketball through the gymnasium, and it was
Right.
a red dress.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, there was so much back and forth. Well, it was a sleeveless red dress. Donna Karen, I remember it looked great on her, it was beautiful. And the whole conversation, well, can she have a shawl? But what about her arms? But what about her breasts? There was always a thing with trying to minimize her. And I used to go to bat for Dana and like, what's wrong with how she looks like right now? Well, can you just, maybe just a little something so that her arms are not so bare? What's wrong with her arms? And I'm like, well, what is wrong with how she looks now? I literally would say
Yeah.
that. And they would not just come out and say, okay, we think she looks too big. But that's what they were saying.
Yeah.
And it was very uncomfortable. And it was on more
Especially
than one
if
occasion.
she wasn't coming with like, I think I look, because I've said to you, oh, I think this makes me look a little heavy. Well, then let's get you a little shawl, a little bolero, a little thing.
Right.
It's different if she was asking for that, but she wasn't even actually like, I look
No.
great.
She looks great. She looked great.
she
She
felt
felt
great.
great. Exactly. And it
Mhm.
was I just distinctly remember that experience. It was very uncomfortable.
Wow.
Oh, that's
I think about that a lot because as 4 women of color, Black women on television, how they were judging us was based on people who were tiny.
Yeah.
If you look at our counterparts, we like very much and we're very talented, from Ally McBeal on to even the Friends people. They were like size 0 too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then so we all looked huge next to them. And you didn't feel that way because we were all together. But I know when I went to other shows to do guest spots, and I was like a size 6'8".
Yeah.
And meaning curvy too.
Right.
For many of the young women on there, they were like children.
I
Exactly.
had a
I'm dead
costume designer
serious.
say, well, where do I shop for you?
Oh my God.
I was like, I'll bring some things from my closet. Is it really that hard? Because you made it so easy. Or that they didn't even have the realm. They didn't have to think about that because they were shopping for
Exactly.
only zeros.
Exactly.
right?
That was not even in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, wow.
That's exactly correct. That's not even anything that they had to consider. And back then and even now, I mean, I think that the what was considered plus size, I mean, I think 10 and above.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
Most
it
of these
was.
boutiques, like, after, we don't even really carry size 10. I mean, maybe 1, but after that, it's gone. So
Mhm.
it was really challenging. Even for Dana, I'm the type of costume designer that I'm like, nothing is off the table. So when I discovered that I can alter men's suiting, the times that she would wear pantsuits and stuff,
Mhm.
I would go and get those fly ass pants. Can I say ass? I guess
You just did. You just did. You can't.
Like I remember Traffic. There was a
I
period
remember
of
Traffic,
time
yes.
that some of the European tailoring were a little bit more feminine and something that I can rock with Dana. And I was like, okay, bam. I would take that and tailor it to her. That was
Looked
was like,
amazing.
yeah. So
Always.
that was, outside of the Dana Buckman. Remember that? There was those, but then
Dana Buckman, Eileen Fisher,
Right.
yeah.
Right, who carried the larger sizes, but it was limiting. It's like, okay, you have 2 styles this month. I need 6 choices for this woman. Where
Right.
am I going? So it forces you to be so much more creative. And same with the budget. I wish I had the budget that Friends
Oh.
had. I only wish, but I don't besmirch that experience at all because it's made me a fantastic designer. I'm resourceful as I don't know what. I don't know anybody who can do the what I do with the meager budgets that I get. Honey.
But that
I'm
shouldn't
here to
always
tell
be
you.
the experiment. It would be great to see what you could do with your mind and your experience with a not only
a full-on budget,
appropriate
like
An appropriate
Go shop,
budget.
yeah,
dude.
go and do your thing.
do you
Right.
have any favorite looks of
Yeah.
ours that you enjoyed putting together?
You know what? My most favorite episode, but included everybody, was A Raisin Harlem.
Oh, it's
I mean, that was my biggest joy because it really was able to showcase what I can do. It was a period piece, and everybody was so extra and over the top and glamorous. Plus, all the background people,
we talked about that you
kids,
have to
really?
dress everyone. Yeah.
everyone. It was, oh my God, I was in seventh heaven. I was like, look at this. Because, of course, what my ability is contemporary, but then, to showcase
Yeah.
a period, I was
Period.
like,
Yeah, it was
this
great.
is amazing.
Without
And period
looking like
through
it was all
character, too.
rented. Yeah, period and characters. and-
Yes.
And also now you get to filter who we were and who we were playing.
Through that
in the-
period.
Oh my goodness.
And you basically have just a few days to do it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know the episode is coming.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, again, everything gets pulled into this brutal schedule. How do you do that?
I learned early on that my temperament is I work best under pressure. I learned that in college. Anytime that I would prepare for a paper and do all the research and do it all in advance, wah, wah.
Last minute, pull it
But if
together.
I do it the night
See?
before,
It's gonna
oof,
be
A
fabulous.
plus, fabulous.
Mhm.
So the cadence, there's something about the cadence of television that I'm well suited for. It's like hit it, quit it, hit it, quit it. You get the script, read it, go shop it, fit it, alter it, break it down, shoot it. It's like a 3-day thing. And my entire career I've worked Saturdays and Sundays with my
wow.
child in tow, of course not paid.
Hmm.
And
People don't even know.
No, they don't know.
Honestly.
that's the level of integrity that I had. It's like I want to make sure that everything is on point. And if that meant that I worked longer hours, unpaid hours, was stitching something at home, whatever I had to do to
Wow.
make it look amazing, I was committed to doing that. So, but that A Raisin Harlem, oh my God. And even Kyle, ooh,
Let's talk about the guys, though.
Let's
We
talk
got
about
to talk about the
we
guys.
got to talk about the guys.
Because, yes, you had Overton
In a
was
suit.
dressed like a straight gangster.
Right.
Mhm.
And then,
That hat.
and then TC was dressed like a waiter, and
That-
then later on.
And later on in the suit.
Right.
But
That trench coat you gave him at the end, it was, to the ground. Just
I have
fabulous.
a special affinity for menswear. And I think
Mm.
because my father, the father-daughter time was to go to this little store downtown LA called California Tie Shop. It was this little alley of a place, and it was just me and him, and he'd go through it, and he says, okay, this is a French cuff, and this right here, feel this fabric. Okay, this is crap, this is cheap. Now feel this here, this is elegance. See this tone-on-tone stripe? You see how this one is soft and this one's not. This one's too bold and garish. No, you don't want that. Look at this pocket square and this tie. Do you see this
So
pattern
your dad
here?
gave you a fashion sense.
Honey, he
That's-
gave me an appreciation for menswear.
Okie doke.
And again, I'm gonna toot my own horn.
Please.
There ain't nobody that can select a man's tie better than I can, or the whole dang gonna look. But I have spent for Kyle. Let me tell you, I spent hours looking for just a tie, looking for just the
Wow.
right,
Wow.
perfect tie. I mean, I'd be in Neiman's and Saks and Bloomingdale's and all the places. I'm like, no.
No.
And then when I see anything that works, it's like Christmas morning. It's like, oh my God. And then you take it to the fitting and it's on. We all like, that's why I like, in a black show. Cause you can get down,
everybody
can
dance.
everybody's like,
When something happens, like,
yes.
tow.
Exactly. When it hits.
How much was TC allowed to collaborate with you? And what about all of us? Did you allow us to collaborate? Yeah.
Everyone, I believe, I hope I did a good job of listening and collaborating because I think everybody really was invested in their wardrobe and invested in the look. He truly was invested
in
and
it.
he truly
loved it.
appreciated my attention to detail because his vests were otherworldly. The suits, the pinstripes, the hats, the fedoras, the top. Come on now.
Yeah.
He was always bragging about you because he wanted to showcase his friends.
Yes.
And it
Yeah.
wasn't just always about, he has an innate love for fashion and design,
Mhm.
but he also wanted to put them down,
Yeah, yeah.
and give them some sort of platform. And he really did. And through
Yeah.
you, because you allowed it.
Yeah, exactly. Which, I don't know that people do it too much these days, but I remember being able to use the platform for a lot of Black designers. Was it FUBU, Walker Wear, and One,
Shaka King,
Shaka King,
Mashoud.
Mashoud, all of them,
Mhm.
all of them. So that was like really, I was very proud of that. I was like,
course.
this is, and everybody had an opportunity to rock something,
Mhm.
Right. So you obviously had such a strong influence on 90s fashion that we were watching on television and being on television in our case.
Yeah, and
How does
basically
it feel
created the
to
whole
see
template
that?
for it.
How does it feel?
Yeah.
It's kind of surreal and a little weird because part of what my vision and my creation has now become a part of the visual lexicon, if there
Yeah.
were. Did I just make that up? Is that a
The
word? Is that a
visual
thing?
You just
lexicon.
did something with
The
it.
visual lexicon of what it meant to look like a Black attorney. When I'm gone, or even now, if a costume designer
That's
wants
right.
to research, this period, they're gonna be looking at my stuff.
Yes,
You
yes.
cannot
That's
escape
fantastic.
that. You
That's
cannot
fantastic.
escape that.
Yes.
So when I think about that, I'm like, oh, you did that.
You did that.
I have to do this because I always think, I haven't done much in life. Sometimes it's just like, I
You know
want to
what?
do something
You know why you
bigger.
think that?
Why?
Because it was your avatar doing all that. You were in two places at once. I don't even think she's here right now.
Yeah, maybe not.
This is a
Maybe not.
hologram.
Exactly.
Yes, when you're in doing that, the amount of work you're talking about, you have time to sort of see, and reminisce. But I think that's why people need to lay back a bit,
Yeah.
and also to get their flowers.
Right.
Yeah.
And frankly,
And I appreciate
you
the
deserve
flowers.
so many of them. You
I
did
really
such a
appreciate
fantastic
that.
job. It's magnificent.
I appreciate that.
I also want to thank you on behalf of all the boho Black girls. So we're talking
That's right.
Freddie on Different World, me on Living Single, Rachel True on Half
Mona,
and Half.
mhm.
And yet we all had our own version of that, and you managed to make it look completely different. Like if you put the three of us next, you go like, oh, they sort of are doing this boho,
Yeah.
mixing so a little bit hippie, but that you did this look that now we get to
Wow.
embrace.
Which I love creating those looks because I get to access the resources that is my happy place. That's vintage stores. Vintage and thrift shopping is my thing.
Why do you
I
love
don't care
it so?
what it is that I'm doing. You hire me for a futuristic sci-fi something. Somebody gonna be in vintage.
That Jabberwocky's going to be in vintage fur.
What do you love about it?
Because it's the thrill of the hunt. It's like a high. It's really like a high when you just go in there and it seems like you can't find nothing. Oh, there's nothing. Then you start to find something like, oh my God, this. And the light bulb goes on and you're like,
Oh, that's it.
there's that. Oh my God. The most amazing,
Wow.
fantastic, phenomenal.
For anyone shopping, they probably think you're climaxing several times.
Probably so.
Right, exactly.
Ah,
Exactly. It's almost like that. That thrill right there. I mean, it's coupled with my passion for what I do. I'm so passionate about my work. I mean, I go to bed thinking about, like I'm working now with Ruth Carter on a couple of her clients. for the
Ruthie
Met-
Carter. Let's have a
Let's
moment
even
for Ruthie
explain who this
Carter.
is. By the way, it was you, Ruth Carter, and who else? Who were like almost basically the
Michelle Cole.
Michelle Cole.
Michelle Cole,
The,
yeah,
like
I worked with her.
The trifecta.
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
this at that time.
Exactly.
Something we were talking about before we started the show. There's another reason why you love vintage and upcycling. That's a personal, planetary experience.
Well, fast fashion has really done a number to the planet.
Mm.
I would venture to guess that anybody's listening does not need another T-shirt, another pair of shoes,
Hang your head.
Denim,
another jacket,
I'm hanging my
another pair of
sneakers.
jeans,
I'm hanging my head.
another pair of anything,
underwear.
quite frankly.
Yeah, it's
Unless
true.
you got really big or really small, I think you probably have all that you probably need for many years to come. And what's happening with fast fashion is that they are exporting the jobs to like places like Bangladesh, where there is, of course, they're being exploited, getting paid pennies and insufficient working conditions.
Mm.
So what ends up happening to all this fast fashion, they're not well made. So you wear it once or twice, and then you dump it. So then you think, oh, well, I'm going to donate it to the Goodwill. Well, when the Goodwill cannot sell it, it ends up on the shores of Africa. When you
Ghana,
throw
yes.
it in the trash, it ends up on the shores of Ghana. It's
Mhm.
literally mountains. It's time for us to just stop the madness. Like, stop. Just take accountability, everybody. And I'm not saying don't go out and shop ever. because that's unrealistic. But maybe consider shopping from a thrift store, shopping in your own closet.
Shop your own closet.
Upscaling something. If you got a jacket and the sleeves a little bit too tight, cut the sleeves off and make a vest.
Change the buttons on something to look,
Exactly. Consider doing something to it or giving it to a friend who, will wear it, a family member who will wear it. Stop making, Amazon rich and making, shopping and just for what? Like people, oh, that's my therapy. But we are killing the planet.
Yeah.
We are killing it.
We're in an addiction.
The severity of it is so high right now. And a lot of people need to understand that. Please make an effort to don't run out and just knee jerk. Oh, you probably don't need whatever you think it is that you need. Go in your closet.
That's actually deep. We didn't know we'd go there, but we need to go there.
But I thought it needed to be said and just something to consider,
Well, and what's interesting though, and when I started reading about it and learning more about it, unbeknownst to me, I've been upcycling my entire career, my entire life, and I just didn't call it upcycling. That's got a fancy name. Before, when I was doing it, and creating these characters, I was always shopping vintage. I was always shopping thrift stores. I was always having characters that are, accessing things that are gently used or worn. When I did Dear White People, all those characters, that was a huge ensemble cast, and 80% of them wore things that were not from a mall. They were from a thrift store or a vintage store. And they all had their distinct look. They looked like they, were shopped from a mall, but I really don't like shopping from a mall. It's so boring. It's uninspiring. I don't like shopping high-level stores. I don't want to go down Rodeo Drive. I'm not interested. Also, that'll not give me no orgasms.
But also, all the characters begin to look alike because if every costumer is shopping from those stores, then everybody looks the same.
Then everybody looks the same.
I want to highlight a collaboration that you allowed me to have with Sinclair's wedding gown.
Oh, yes.
And so when it came time for this wedding, not only did I get to help Erica, I got to choose what the bridesmaids wore. And so you had to, we had to choose a bridesmaid's dress that would look beautiful on everybody.
Lavender.
And you let me collaborate the wedding dress. And thank you for that. It wasn't just put this on.
We couldn't even speak to you. You were so into it.
No.
Was I?
Yes.
But it was like your wedding. Like, why wouldn't I let you collaborate? That's just crazy not to.
It could have been a rack of dresses. Pick one. You actually made that.
Yeah, we had it made. Yes, honey. It was a couture bespoke.
It was a bespoke
wedding dress.
Sinclair couldn't have afforded it.
It was beautiful.
Exactly. But it was beautiful on
and right timing.
And that was so
very
important.
Fluffy.
I mean, it's even though it's just, on TV, it's still you.
Yeah.
You still have to
thank you for
be
that.
fabulous and feel comfortable and beautiful and all the things any bride wants to be on their wedding day.
Right.
Right?
You're
welcome.
Yeah, but I always ask, is that in the archives somewhere? Is that dress somewhere in the archives?
So after a show is gone, done, canceled, wardrobe goes to the costume house on the lot, in this case, Warner Brothers. And from time to time, Warner Brothers has to decide what they're going to sell or give away, whatever they do to get rid of it to make more space. So all costume houses do that same thing. And the people who choose to do that don't look like us. Mm-hmm. And so they don't understand our fashion. They don't understand our style. And, I think, everybody was up in arms about Hollywood so white. Well, that kind of thing filters down on every level of the industry. So if there were Black people working in the racks, in the studios, they would be going, oh my God, I remember this when Sinclair wore this. We got to keep this. We got to keep this Mac suit. Oh my God, that lavender suit with the mint grit. Oh my, they would be freaking out and keeping it. And today it would be there. So it's really important for diversity to happen on all levels, in front of the camera, behind the cameras, in the studios, all over. Because there's repercussions.
Ceci, this was refreshing. It was enlightening.
Thank
it was
you,
delicious.
Ceci,
We thank you for all the work that you do, all the work that you continue to do.
And so much of what's on that screen is told through the story of costume. So people to understand your story and understand how it's connected to so many other stories that you put out there in the zeitgeist. It's beautiful. So bravo.
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 I received my flowers with great gratitude and thanksgiving and love and joy, and I appreciate both of you. Thank you.
Wait, don't go anywhere, because we're about to answer some fan questions.
Yeah,
True
Blue.
Blue and tight like what? Do you remember?
Blue.
There you go.
Come on,
Yeah.
now.
So, Amber, you have the question from our wonderful person out there.
I actually have two questions. First one is from Deontay from Oakland. And he asks, hi, Erica and Kim. I heard you were looking for a general fashion question. So what current designers would you have used for Living Single? If you could use any current designers now.
I'm glad Ceci's here.
Right,
'Cause my quick thing is Telfar.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm unique in that I don't have an allegiance to any designer. And I'm not, a label whore. And I could care less about the designer name. Now, I do care about promoting Black designers for sure. So, I would definitely, look and see what, like you said, Telfar, anyone else has. But, I don't like to be beholden to any specific designer because I'm married to the look.
The aesthetic
of whatever it is. And what I found throughout the years, a lot of people are, oh, it's Gucci, it's YSL, I don't really care. And those labels are not necessarily consistent. I would probably do some deconstructive wardrobe on Sinclair. I would do, some of the more men's suiting on Max.
Okay.
Some Tom Ford is having a big moment with, his deconstructed looks and whatnot. I think I would do a version of that would be more thrifted versus, off the rack.
So you're still recommending to take pieces that you already own and or find ways to put together.
Exactly.
Because that is the look of Living Single.
Exactly. And to veer away from, specific designers. While I would like to, like I said, enhance and support them, I think people need to start thinking less so of the designer as being the end all be all, but trust their eye and their instinct to choose what's good for them.
I love it. That's
that.
a new age.
Thank you.
You got another question?
Well, this other question was from Amber W. from Chicago, which is me.
I was like, that sounds familiar.
If you had an unlimited budget, what is the fashion story that you would tell?
With an unlimited budget.
For anything.
Unlimited budget.
My Lord.
I would fly to other countries and get textiles from all over Africa, Indonesia, Marrakesh, Egypt, Dubai. I would be flying and scooping up all the things, honey, the accessories, the jewels, the beads. Everybody would be so textured and layered and faceted and, oh my God, have things made in India.
Oh, come on. Come on. Come on now.
Come on.
Ceci, this sounds like a line we need to see. Ceci.
Oh my
See
God.
it through my eyes.
I
know what I mean?
I would be beyond, because we don't see enough of that. And oh my gosh, textiles around the world, Japan. Oh my God.
Come on.
Oh Lord, come on.
Come
Oh my God.
So there you have it.
Bravo.
And there
Well
you
done.
have it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And having this conversation. Ceci and I always finish things with, and there you have it.
And introduce
yeah.
everyone to a person that we love that is, inside of our lives in a way that can't even be really told. Because we spent all those years and you saw us nude, naked, you saw us vulnerable, you made us feel good, you told the story, but you also had to hold space for us to be ourselves and tell you our secrets. You know what I mean? And know our secrets.
Is that,
So thank
is
you.
that part of the show where I tell the secrets now?
No. You evil bitch. You evil bitch. Thank you. And that's that.
That's it.
Thank you again. Mwah.
Thank you. Kitty.
Yay.
Well, that's our show. And there
That's
you
our
have
show,
it.
and thank
Thanks,
you.
Kim Fields and
Ceci
Ceci for
and-
talking about fashion and fun and fabulosity. Thank you.
My pleasure. It was so much fun. It's
It
always
was.
fun.
It was. Thank you.
I'm coming to shop your closet, Ceci.
And by the way, send us your questions if you want us to try to answer them. Reliving Single Podcast at heartbeat.com, and that's spelled HART beat.com. And make sure you catch this and listen wherever you listen to your podcast.
Yes.
And check us out. Next week, we're going to have all sorts of new stuff to talk about.
New
and you never
things.
know who's going to pop up.
That's right. See ya. Reliving Single is hosted by Erica Alexander and me, Kim Coles. Reliving Single is a production of Heartbeat in association with Color Farm Media. Executive produced by Kevin Hart, Jeff Clanigan, Eric Eddings, Leslie Guam, Erica Alexander, and Ben Arnon. This show is produced by Kim Coles. Amber Watson is our senior producer. Our associate producer is Kenny Jackson. Our video editor is Shannon Joy Rogers. Our sound engineers are Eric Hicks and Cedric Wilson. Production supervision by Razak Boykin. Additional production support from Alex Atkins and Z Taylor. And a special thanks to Dr. E.J. Johnson.